Welcome to the podcast that has earned recognition for us in 2019 and 2020 as having one of the best podcasts in marketing research. This is Research Business Daily Report. And if you'd like to lend your support to our viewers-supported video series, please go to RBDR's exclusive community at the crowdfunding platform, patreon.com/RBDR. I'm Bob Lederer, for more than 25 years, the respected voice in market research. For much of this week, we've been exploring the polling that led up to the 2020 presidential election. And so far, we've heard from a pair of veteran pollsters associated mostly with the Democrats. So it was our intention to present a right-wing or Republican pollster today. We identified Trafalgar Group's Robert Cahaly as the guy that we wanted to interview. Unfortunately, Cahaly's staff told us, well, he'd join us if we paid him to join us, and we'll never agree to that. However, Cahaly has spoken to a number of other media organizations in depth, notably the New York Times, and in addition to Michael Smerconish, who hosts programs on CNN and SiriusXM. So we know Cahaly's perspectives from those information sources and his opinions to a large extent, and so we're prepared today to make the points that we feel he probably would have made if he had agreed to a video. Compared with other pollsters, Cahaly pays little attention to APOR best practices, and it's fair to say that his solutions, at least the few that he has shared with the research industry, are viewed as unusual. To start, Cahaly thinks it is presumptuous for any pollster to rely on representative sample using the scientific method. That viewpoint stems from Cahaly's belief that every person lies about their political preference, most especially conservatives. According to Cahaly, when you ask a voter who they are planning to vote for, that person will more likely answer what they think the interviewer wants to hear. He calls that social desirability bias. And Cahaly says it has worsened since Donald Trump arrived on the political scene. Cahaly claims to have learned that it takes 5 times as many calls to reach a conservative voter and then to complete a polling survey with them, as opposed to what it takes to reach a liberal. Cahaly thinks he made headway against this problem back in 2016 when he asked voters who they thought their neighbor was voting for. Answering that question, Cahaly has stated, actually reveals who the individual being surveyed is planning to vote for president. Apparently, Cahaly believed that his tactic identified the so-called shy Trump voter, people who it is said believe that they will not answer questions provided from any pollster. Did it work? Well, that neighbor question was adopted by other pollsters since 2016. Now, back then, Cahaly successfully predicted Donald Trump's triumph in the presidential election, down to the exact 306 electoral votes the campaign earned, although he didn't predict every state correctly. His 2016 success came partially from spotting a surge of working-class voters who felt alienated from politics. And during the creation of that process, Cahaly created a list of approximately 50 lifestyle characteristics. One of them, for example, was ownership of a fishing license. And he used this to pinpoint low-propensity voters who surprisingly turned out in droves for Trump in the election that year. Jumping to today in 2020, Cahaly incorrectly predicted that Trump would be reelected, although, to his credit, he did foresee a far closer race than the 6-point or larger national spreads that had been pronounced by most pollsters. The smaller spread from Trafalgar projected and garnered him substantially additional attention. He correctly projected Florida and North Carolina would go for Trump, but he missed in also feeling that Michigan and Arizona would do the same. They, of course, went to Biden. Cahaly is a hero to some, but to most of the polling fraternity, his unwillingness to really confide the process that he follows makes him, to be fair, somewhat of an enigma. I've given away enough, meaning explanations of what he actually does, Cahaly told Smerconish, and he says, judge us by whether we get it right. That wraps up today's edition of the Research Business Daily Report. We want to thank you for watching RBDR, whether it's occasionally or every day. For many of our viewers, watching RBDR is clearly time well spent, and there's no reason for anyone out there to hesitate if they'd like to share any of our videos with a friend or a peer. And we hope in the process you'll consider becoming an RBDR Patreon supporter, because we are a viewer-supported program. You can do so at patreon.com/RBDR. So good luck with the rest of this week in your business dealings. Please enjoy your upcoming weekend, and until we see you again, hopefully on Monday, please stay safe.